Alright, right back into matters. Very first mission of Operation Bronze Medal happened on the first week that we got here. Uh, well, actually, not necessarily true. We actually arrived on Sunday. Technically, this is the second week, but it's effectively the first week of fighting. Don't sweat the nomenclature. Now, already the Lyrans are throwing some resistance up. They've got two missions for us this month, or this week. Maybe they've got two for us this month, who knows. But only two for us this week, a hold the line and a probe. Because we've got some strategic options to consider, let's take a quick look at, well, first let's take a quick look at what strategic options we have. Firebrand Lance is unassigned. I didn't assign them as a quick reaction because they've got too many mechs for that. Didn't want to assign them as a scout or fight lance because I didn't want to put myself over my head. One thing I kind of did on that last mission is I just took on way too many fights at once, and it kind of stretched me thin. But, I was doing a lot of that to try to make up for lost time because of how much contract score we had lost. Now I don't have to worry about that. I can take things kind of slow, make sure that I get good fights, not just lots of fights. Uh, Firebrand Lance isn't going to be reinforcing on anything, but we do have our Avenger Lance who could. We also still have Idra something. No, not that. She's like a sergeant or something. Rima Idris, and uh, her infantry platoon didn't end up getting them that the mobile units I was talking about, the what do you call them, like APCs and stuff. Left them as just foot infantry for right now. So that means that they're still capable of doing recon. So we can still make that roll. Let's see if we have that option available. A 6, we do. So they have been doing some excellent recon during this first week. Like, we've been on the ground like maybe all of 4 days, and already they've got the landscape scouted out and figured out where the bulk of the Lyran forces are, and which ones that we could potentially fight and which ones we could potentially avoid. Let's take a quick look at what our options are. Our hold the line attack with Central as our primary combatant looks like it's fighting. Let's see here. Condor, Hetzer, Vidette, Wasp Commando, Firestarter, Grasshopper, Packrat, Urban Mech, Stinger, Hetzer. So this is a pretty heavy pack of enemies. Now we've just got one, two, three, four, well, five, six. We do have 6 vehicles. Two of them Hetzers, and that's going to be two things that are packing AC-20s. And this isn't just a thing and reinforcements. This is all of it. Mixed in with it, one, two, three, four, 5 light mechs and a grasshopper heavy mech. That's a pretty heavy contact, and then they have reinforcements. Reinforcements are a J. Edgar light hover tank, 2 vedettes, and a Condor heavy hover tank. Oh, missed that guy. Condor heavy hover tank is kind of a mixed bag. They've got some weaponry, but honestly, because they're sort of fat and are still as easily crittable as any other tank, heavy hover tanks don't really pan out as well. So it makes sense that these idiots are using them. But point is, so these reinforcements aren't anything to really spook about. What is kind of to spook about is exactly how many mechs we're going to be fighting. Now, of these, we've got a Wasp, we've got a Stinger, we've got a Firestarter. The Firestarter's okay, kind of a decently armored mech. We've got an Urban mech, that's just kind of hilarious. He's going to be waddling onto the field. So 4 of these mechs are pretty light, are light mechs and mechs that I'm not overly concerned about, especially going up against Central. The Grasshopper is a pretty decent heavy mech. It's a jump jet heavy mech, and it's got a lot of energy weapons so that it can just kind of jump into position, zap whatever it feels like, and then if it feels like it's gotten in too deep, jump back out. That can do some damage, but I feel like we could take this fight. So this is one of those where we have to destroy half of the enemies while having less than 1/3 of our own forces destroyed. Since we don't have any allies to worry about, that translates down to if we lose 2 people, we leave. Uh, Now, if we lose 2 people, I don't think that this would have been a very good match anyway. But we have to destroy half of the enemy units. Since they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12 guys in their normal lineup. That's knocking out 6 of their number before reinforcements, 8 when they do. Now, a lot of these guys are tanks. Tanks that I could knock out pretty easily, especially with Captain Koby and his crit storm stalker. Pug's Marauder also is going to be able to lay some hurt down at long range. I kind of want to fight this one, especially because there's a lot of light mechs in this. And that means that I could put some of my heavy herders, like Captain Koby or Pugs, onto light mechs, focus fire them down, probably destroy them, but take home some pretty tasty salvage. My greed might be getting the better of me, but I feel like this is a fight that we could really take. Let's take a look at the other one. Okay, so we've got Big Sky, who's going to be fighting a Commando, Vedette, Packrat, Enforcer, Locust, Dervish, Packrat, Vedette, Assassin. Oh, I can't remember if the Assassin is the small one or the big one. That's going to be kind of important. Hetzer, Vedette, and a Phoenix Hawk. So this is actually a much heavier lance than the other one. Curiously enough, I don't know why this keeps happening to Big Sky, but, you know, holy shit, look at the skill on this Virginia Sutherland. She is an artist with that Vedette cannon. Well, in any case, Commando and Locust are both light mechs. I have to look up the Assassin. I gotta know. Curious, Assassin is apparently a medium mech. 40 tons, so it's on the pretty light end of mediums, packing a medium laser, an LRM-5, and an SRM-2. Okay, this guy's nothing to fret over. Is it the default type? He's a Assassin AS-21? AS-21, yeah. So default loadout, medium LRM, SRM-2. Nothing really to poop yourself about. So we've got a light mech, a light medium, or sorry, a light medium, and the Phoenix Hawk is also kind of a light medium, although it's a better all-rounder than that guy. Just got a better loadout of weapons. Locust is a bucket. Dervish is, this is the DV6M, which I believe is the one that we're packing, which means that it's just a fucking fire waiting to happen. But, you know, it's got a nice mix of far out and close in weapons. Enforcer, that's packing an LRM-10. Nothing entirely scary, but altogether, this is a kind of heavier encounter. We could probably win this, especially because it's just a probe. We only have to destroy 1/4 of these guys, and that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 of them that we don't need to... 12 of them, so we'd have to knock out 3 of them. We could probably do that on their vehicles. But then we'd have to knock out another one of them if reinforcements come in. Here's kind of how I think I'm going to play it. We're going to hold the line. We're going to send out our hold the line against the Lyran Commonwealth, and we're going to see how much of those mechs we can take home as salvage. For this probe, I'm going to reinforce it, try to reinforce it with Avenger Lance. If I can get Avenger Lance in there, we should be able to do enough, like, just sheer bombing of all of those more lightly armored mechs to soften things up and kind of turn things to our advantage. If it turns out that we can't get that reinforcement on site, we'll just go ahead and use our recon knowledge and automatically win this one. We won't take home any salvage, but we won't have to potentially get ourselves in over our head. And that might be worth it this early on. So that's the game plan. And with the game plan lined out, let's get into the actual game, man. Once again, we are fighting a shitload of enemies. Oh, what kind of were we fighting it in? Light urban town mining. I don't have a problem with light urban generally. The enemy kind of crowds up inside the urban to take cover from things, but that also kind of allows you to pick and poke at them from longer range. That said, we do have some excellent long range fire on this group. Every one of these mechs is packing a large laser. The Marauder is packing PPCs. We can do some poking and peeking, especially because looking at this, the Commando I think has a large laser, and the Grasshopper has a large laser, and the Urban Mech has an AC-10 that has close to the same range, but all of the other mechs aren't packing anything with nearly a long enough range. All those vedettes can take pot shots at us, but everything else we can kind of outrange. Yeah, with that in mind, I think I'm going to re-roll what type we're fighting in. Once again, Captain Koby, an excellent tactician, can pick a lot about how he decides to fight. It's clear, it's daylight, or there's a light gale, but if I remember, a light gale shouldn't affect missiles at all. So let's pick our fight. Badlands with light craters. Well, Badlands does give you a lot of open territory. Hmm. Light craters. Don't remember what kind of map that is. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm feeling light craters. That doesn't sound as good. Well, we got it again. Let's give that one more roll. Cliffs? Eh. Cliffs sounds like it's going to be a lot of line of sight blocking. One more, and whatever we get next, we have to deal with. Heavy craters. Well, I don't know. May have turned out to be a bad decision, but Captain Koby's out of maneuvering, so we'll see what the map looks like and deal with it. Let's get down there. I should still have that. Yeah, I should still have that cranked down so the bings aren't too loud. Might be kind of loud on my end though. Um, I did have to restart my computer, so uh, yeah, that's loud. G give me just a moment. God damn it! Why are you always so damn loud? It's ridiculous. All right, crank that way the fuck down. Okay, excellent. All right, back in the action. So the Condor heavy hover tank, is packing a. It's essentially not packing a hell of a lot more than the vedettes are. It's got two extra medium lasers, uh, and the main thing it has for itself is that it goes super fast, like all heavy hover tanks does, and it should have a lot of armor. Except that if you get side shots on it, you just crit it into the ground. It's kind of it's not a great decision when you're using hover tanks, you want to go light, cheap harassers. Harassers are actually the name of one of the type, but the whole point of them is to kind of flank around, get around your enemy, get behind them, get in corners of them, unleash a large fusillade of damage, and then maybe get away. That's what hover vehicles are great for. Moving fast, unloading a high damage thing like a bunch of SRM6s or an AC-20 like the Saladin does, and then just scooting away. This seems like they tried to make an actual tank out of a hover tank. I just don't think that's going to pay off as much. I might be wrong. Hetzer, this has got an AC-20. That's all it's got. It's got an AC-20 and a shitload of ammo for it, just designed to sit in place and go poom, poom, poom. Vedettes, we've seen what they've had over and over again. This is a Wasp 1A. I bet it's got like two weapons. Yeah, SRM2 medium laser. Commando. Let's see if this is the model. No, this is not the model that has the large laser. Medium laser, SM4, SM6. So that's one less enemy mech that has any kind of long range equipment. The Firestarter, we've seen this guy before. Just a bunch of medium to short range stuff. Really designed as an infantry killer, the Firestarter. But we don't see infantry in this game. Grasshopper is packing a large laser. It's got a nice brace of medium lasers, but we've got a mech that has a better brace of medium lasers. Other than that, that LRM-5 can take pot shots at us, but I'm not particularly scared of an LRM-5. Maybe I should be, but I've got through criticals edged on nearly all of the guys in this group, if not all of them. Don't quite remember. Urban Mech has got a 20-ton, or it's got a AC-10 that's gonna, that'll have decent range, but he's a slow waddling piece of garbage, so he'll have a difficult time catching up. The Stinger, 2 medium lasers. It's nothing to, you can't ignore it, but you can't worry about it too much. And then another Hetzer, and then the reinforcements are just more of the same. I think we can take this. I really do think. I mean, we almost outcost them and their reinforcements, but that really is not a good measure of their effectiveness. What's a good measure is our battle value. Our battle value is a fair bit over that of the Lyran Commonwealth. Not enough that I'd say that this is an absolute slam dunk, but yeah, enough that like it would take a pretty skilled, intelligent player to uh, make this into an overall route rather than just a slugfest. And we aren't facing an intelligent player. We're facing a bot. We're facing Lyrans. They're idiots. Let's get on the ground and show everyone how big an idiot they are. First turn, not going to have great initiatives because uh, not have great initiatives for the deployment phase, just because it takes a while for Captain Koby to get on the field and give us his initiative. So we got deployment kind of spread throughout. That's okay. We'll get to see some of theirs, then we'll put one, then we'll see some of theirs, and then so on. What I'm really interested in is the map. Okay. Need to pay careful attention to the elevation levels. There's a setting for this that's supposed to give sort of like a better indication of. Hang on, I'm going to see if I can remember where that is. Oh! I am slapping myself here. Goddamn, isn't that so much easier to read? Doesn't that make so much more sense to your human eyeball? And it was there the whole time. There the whole time. Okay. Now we've got a much better read on the elevation in this area. We aren't going to get confused like we've done a couple of times about what exactly is high compared to what. We can see that this is, we are kind of going to start on a little shelf, uh, either a little above or a little below where the enemies are. If we started on the shelf down here, we've got a little bit of cover that we could take and just kind of move and scoot. But I've gotten trapped in that kind of cover before. Instead, I kind of think I want to take the high ground, like right around here. Take the high ground, push up to here. We'll have good sight on everything in the valley below this, and then we'll be able to rain fire down on their heads. We might even be able to clamber up on here and make effective use of that terrain. In fact, specifically for my Marauder, that's my plan. I'm going to have pugs clamber up onto this and take shots down on the enemy, looking for shots to pop their heads. I mean, I don't think that's actually how it works, but we'll take shots at them and they won't be able to hide from us. That's the general idea. So they are just deploying in the middle in a big cluster. Well, that's fine. I'm going to deploy in a big cluster too. My Thunderbolt, heavily armored, just a big, bulky son of a bitch mech. I'm tempted to deploy it kind of down here, so it sort of is what they run into first and focus a lot of fire on. But really, if I'm being realistic, the smart move is to clump my guys up. Put them all in one area, and then the enemy has to make some decisions about who they focus fire on. I'd prefer for them to spread the fire out by being not sure as to what the best thing to fire at any range is, because all of these mechs are decently heavy. We don't have any glass cannons in this group. Let's see. Captain Koby. Him, I actually will air more on the side of closer to the enemy, just because he's got a fair amount of medium range weaponry, and I want him to get closer to the enemy faster. And lastly, my Wolverine is the lightest mech here, so I'm going to kind of air towards putting her near the back, but her speed should allow her to catch up pretty quickly. So let's call that good. Now that we actually roll our initiatives, fuck you, show me your moves. Show me what you got, you Lyran pieces of shit. Alright, they're just kind of running around like mechs with their heads cut off. Right now we can't see a lot of them because of this plateau, although we could sing the stinger. Hang on, I'm going to check something for hilarity's sake. All of us can see this stinger that sort of jumped up into the open, kind of weirdly. I could just sit right here and have everyone focus fire on that stinger, get super accurate shots, and then allow the enemy to still have to come to me. What's my alternative? If I crest the hill, everyone can see me. Now, they should see me from an angle that gives me cover. That is a thing. But everyone can see me. Then again, I can see everyone, and I can pick my targets. If I push up to there, I can... Well, I'm still only going to be really accurate shot on the stinger. Everything else is going to be far out. You know, sometimes life gives you choices that really aren't choices. They're just opportunities for a story. Chances for you to really experience life at its fullest. And if you don't take those opportunities, you're just dead inside. We're going to park right here this turn. We're going to be right here. All of our shots are going to go on this guy who jumped. Now, they're not great shots. They're going to be pretty long range. But some number of them will probably hit. And we didn't move. And so we once again require the enemy to show us their moves before we respond in kind. And then we can just take moves at our leisure. Now I've already built up 20 heat. I could push this large laser out and get up to 28. That would mean next turn I'd pretty much have to just fire 1 PPC to come back down to normal. 8 heat is also going to put a penalty to fire on me. Well, you know, if we don't do it now, we're not going to ever do it. This is the ideal situation for doing that, pretty much. Let's go ahead and take the penalty to shoot. Next turn, we'll get better shots anyway. See if we can't knock that stinger right out of the damn sky. I think I can only see him because he sort of jump jetted. Although I think it might also be because, let's see here, he's level 3, this is level 2, we're at level 3. So yeah, we can just barely see his torso over this hill. But I do think that the jump jet had something to do with it. Now, this guy is going to be out of, give me high to low damage, out of range of my medium lasers, but he is within range of my large laser. Captain Koby, you madman. You absolute madman. Put shots down range, see if we can't peg this guy. Large laser shot, not likely, but we'll take it. Large laser shot, not likely, but we'll take it. Let's see what kind of hilarity ensues. So, unfortunately, Marauder misses all of her shots. Sad, and that puts us in heat debt. But, you know, what can you do? Captain Koby, though, zaps it right on the left leg. Big problem with Stinger, it doesn't have 8 armor to spare. I zapped it, I hit it, I'm into internal structure, rolled a critical on its hip. Sucker was jump jetting over. Captain Koby just kind of goes right on the left leg. It slams into the ground, stumbles and falls, and just kind of face plants right on the ground. Now, nothing too significant damage-wise there, other than that damage on the left leg. That's pretty close to taking that mech out. But it's... I think that we have been rewarded for our choices. That's how I view the universe right now. Initiative, the only thing that gets to move during ours is a vedette. I'm not going to discount him, but I am going to admit he's not that important. So, looks like the Stinger had some trouble getting up. Wow, really? Okay, hang on. I gotta double check things again, because this might be Christmas. Christmas might have come early. Because once again, it seems like I've just got an ideal spot. I kind of didn't even plan this through. But just because of the position of all of this, the only place that you can really assault my guys is either on a wide flank or by coming up on this area where we've got range on you and we can see you real easily. But any of your guys that are back hiding on this shelf can't. We already zapped this guy, and apparently he's just been falling over on himself, trying to get back up with that busted hip. We could just do this over and over. And I want to. I really want to. And I think I know who I want to do it on, too. Now, we went into heat debt with this, with our Marauder. So we got to dig ourselves out of that hole. Only way to do that is to not fire everything. So we won't be firing everything this time. But I want to check the large laser range. Large laser range says, okay, with my Wolverine, if I could get my Wolverine up to the plate, let's see quick right here. Yeah, this position, if I move my Wolverine up to it, she can see and be protected just as well. With my Wolverine at that position, I am reasonably certain that we can all put shots on this urban mech. And that urban mech, it may be a heavily armored little mech. Although, alternatively, we could also just all put shots on this Wasp, and any one of those shots that hits is going to knock it out. But it jumped a lot, and that puts it at a mod 3. This guy doesn't have anywhere close to short enough range weapons to be a threat, long range weapons to be a threat to us. Urban mech technically might. So let's focus fire on that urban mech and see if we are continue to be rewarded for landing smack dab into Commander Koby's foxhole. So once again, I'm gonna throw it in park. Vidette panicked. Oh shit! I meant to. Oh, well, that was stupid of me, but no worries. I'll take a shot on the fire starter. We'll still do something. That Stinger, with his busted ass leg and his cramped cockpit, he needs a 10 to get up, and he is just he's struggling so hard. He falls down, he bonks himself, he stays conscious, he falls down, he bonks himself, stays conscious, but he's only got so much of that left. We may take home another lucky guy who managed to decapitate himself. Let's see here. So I said I was going to fire on this urban mech, and I meant it. Not great shots still, but, we'll take them. Let's see here. That'll put me at 18. I could go up to 6 by firing the large laser. Medium laser doesn't quite have range. Nah, let's get out of heat debt. Just take it easy this turn. Make sure that we are nice and underheated for when the enemies start to actually close and are kind of right on top of us and we actually start having to tangle. But for right now, I'm going to take the shots that they present to me. That's a pretty good one. Pretty good one on that urban mech. Zap. Over here, can't quite hit the urban mech. It's sad, but we can land a shot at that fire starter. It's not a good one, but it's one that we can take. Zoop. And Captain Koby, however, is going to deliver the real work here. You madman. Zap zap. Let's see how much that generates in busted up urban mech. Go. Well, Captain Koby is still showing off why he's the crackingest shot around with a zap that lands on the urban mech's left torso and exposes it. It's got heavy enough armor that it can take a light laser shot or large laser shot, unlike all of its other light brethren. It also rolled an AC-10. This is showing why we focused this guy. Rolling an AC-10, missed at us, but he's got us in range. And, we did a little bit. We did a little bit, but it's not quite as hilarious as it was last turn. However, we're now heat neutral. We're ready to really tangle it up. The enemy is coming in slowly again. Captain Koby, to him, all of these guys are just moving in slow motion. So how do you want to play this? Okay, Firestarter did something I pretty much expected. He zoomed up on top to start getting on top of us and throwing fire down range. I expected this, and I am going to punish him for doing that because he's jumped in. He has shown admirable adherence to the Lyran Book of Conduct and has thrown himself into the short range of a shitload of enemy mechs. Godspeed, you crazy bastard. Everyone else has continued to kind of stand off at a distance. And this is interesting to me because it means that the AI is a little bit afraid to really close the distance. Right now, in things that can take a shot at us, we have two vedettes that are packing AC-5s. Those can shoot at us. Just double check my sight lines here. Uh, I absolutely will move up into this position with my Wolverine this turn. I swearsies. In medium range is the fire starter, but nothing else. But the interesting thing about that is that means nothing else is at our medium range. This urban mech, these vedettes, and this grasshopper can all fire at us, but they can do like 8 damage, 5, 10 damage between two AC5s, and an AC10 would do 10 damage. But this is damage that all of these mechs can take. We can take that kind of damage, even if they focused it down on one person. We'll be taking potentially a little bit more from this fire starter, but I'm, I'm just not as concerned about him because he's kind of also going to get shredded by all of our return fire. I think I'm going to continue throwing it in park. I think that we've just found the sweet spot here, and we want to exploit it. Um, that Stinger looks like he's still having trouble getting up. I don't see any more hits on him, but what I do see is that his movement is down to 116. That means he blew up his leg. I think we're taking that mech home. He kind of delivered it to us. That said, in other mechs that we can then pick up, we could start focusing fire on that grasshopper. That grasshopper is a heavy mech. It would be worthwhile to take home, just both in salvage and potentially in fielding someone in it. Alternatively, knocking out that urban mech is going to be easier to do, knocks out pretty much what is the bulk of the enemy's potential damage while they're kind of at this standout range, and is a lot more likely to do with the fact that we're just kind of limiting ourselves to our longest range weapons right now. I think the urban mech is still going to be the target of my bullying, and I'll put some shots downrange at the grasshopper or the wasp in future turns. For right now, everything that can hit at that range is probably going to go on the urban mech, and we'll see if we can't knock him out. I mean, he didn't scoot very far. He didn't move at all, in fact. He was just trying to get a dial in, and we're going to do the same. This is usually stupid, but we outrange the enemy, and they know it. I'm going to accept that fire starter having some pretty good shots on us. He's a what? 4? Yeah, he's going to have some pretty excellent shots on us, despite the fact that he ran. He's going to have some. Well, we're outside of his medium range. So he's going to have some, well, 8s actually. Okay, that's not the greatest. That's like a 40%. He's got like 2 medium lasers he can do that with, and nothing else can reach us. So, we're once again throwing it in park. Marauder, park. Thunderbolt, park. Wolverine actually puts it in gear and excitingly drives up here. Once again, don't get fooled. This is if our hex was here. We're actually going to be here. Here. Not here. Here. Turn. Guy tries, falls over. Sorry. Tries, falls over, breaks his leg, and now he's just kind of stuck there. Funny thing is that he actually manages to avoid taking damage twice in a row. Tough guy. Even though he had a really difficult roll to avoid it. Anyway, so right now, Let's see here. I'm pretty sure I can target the urban mech. Yeah, the X's are just on the vedettes. So actually, I guess the vedettes can't see us. Right, because they're lower to the ground. So that's a huge chunk of the enemy's fire that I was just calculating cut off. They just don't actually have that. So, like I said, I'm putting all of my fire that can reach on that urban mech, all of my fire that can't reach on this guy. Now, what do I dump on this guy? Captain Koby's going to be the last person shooting at him. That's kind of the way this works, if I remember correctly. Or maybe it's... don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. What I need to worry about is what can I do with my heat? I have 4 doses of SRM6s. If this guy gets any exposed spots, those SRM6s are going to just absolutely ruin him. So it's a matter of opening up some exposed spots on him. The Firestarter is a lightly armored mech. It's got 6s on its arms, 8s on its legs. A medium laser in any of its limbs weakens it enough. Well, a medium laser on its arms weaken them enough for potential crit procking from an SRM. You'd need at least 2 missiles to hit on a left leg to get through after a medium laser shot. Probably what I want to do, since it is a little more heavily armored than, say, a Locust, what I'll want to do is dedicate a fair amount to stripping, say like 4 medium lasers, zap, zap, zap. I am firing on this guy, right? Let me just make sure. Zap, 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 zap. That brings me up to 28. That's going to put me 2 under, remember, combat computer. And then an SRM6 puts me 2 over, and an SRM6 puts me 6 over. 6 is a penalty to movement, but I ain't moving anyway, Charlie. So that's going to strip, 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 and then have a bunch of SRM6s seeking for hits to crit that thing into the ground. And combined with everyone else's fire, that's probably going to be pretty hilarious. So let's do that. The Marauder, I actually want the Marauder focusing fire downrange because I want to put both those PPCs on top of that urban mech. We have some medium lasers we could take at close range, but why mess with our perfect shot? Just take the PPC shots, try to take out that urban mech. The Thunderbolt, we can take that large laser shot at the... Right now, what we have... Let me think about what I'm putting on the urban mech right now. Large laser, PPC, PPC. A large laser on his left torso destroys that. A large laser on his right torso strips it. A large laser anywhere else just eats armor. A PPC on anything but his legs strips armor, potentially crits. Yeah, 1 more large laser shot from the Thunderbolt doesn't seem too excessive. Not that I'm really trying to take the urban mech home, if I'm being honest with myself. I mean, I've got an urban mech already. It's garbage, I know this. So, zap with that. And as for the rest of this shot, it's going to be slightly worse for having a secondary target, but we can do that and be heat neutral. I'm going to opt to take a little bit more and be 3 over. 3 I can live with. Hell, 6 I can live with. This is excessive. This is going to blow that Firestarter away, but I really just kind of want its salvage bits. I don't want to take home a Firestarter. I want salvage on the field. Likewise, over here, can't quite get the urban mech, unfortunately. It kind of must have maneuvered from where it was last turn. But don't worry, that just gives us an opportunity to sort of follow up on this asshole and make sure that he's not going to be giving anyone any problems. Although those weren't great shots I was taking, sadly. Needs 10 for all of them. But I don't really have any better ones to take, so may as well. Let's see how this turns out. So, Grasshopper fires large laser in LRM5. Misses, that's a fair amount of the enemy's fire gone already. AC-10 missed a stationary target. That's all of the real potential damage they can do. Then the fire starter misses. That's everything. You Lyrans suck. Our large laser hits the urban mech in the right leg, zaps it a bit, strips off armor, hits it in the right torso, exposes it. Then we fire a bunch of medium lasers at the fire starter, miss, but then zap the leg, 3 armor, zap the center torso, 8 armor, zap the left torso, 6 armor. Miss with the first SRM-6, but the second SRM-6 has a through armor critical. I bet you wish you had edge, doing 2 damage and a hit on the engine and hit on the gyro. That thing is in trouble. You know what else is in trouble? Urban Mech gets zapped with a PPC on that exposed left torso. Was that the one that we exposed this turn? No, we exposed that last turn. But she dialed in on it, PPC straight into the open area, blew off its left arm. Is the left arm the one with the cannon? I think it is. I think that blows off its cannon. It's got nothing left. Destroys several heat sinks, deals damage to its center torso, damage to the leg, and lastly, zaps on the left arm, don't exist, transfers to the center. Its torso is exposed. Any significant more damage on this urban mech is going to put it in the ground. However, we might have done just enough damage to it to convince it to retreat instead. So medium laser at the fire starter zaps it, is into internal structure on its left torso, zaps it in the head. The pilot blacks out, and then we just keep shooting him into the ground for good measure. So we knocked the pilot out with a nice razzle-dazzle onto his head. And who fired that? That was my Thunderbolt? Yeah, excellent work. Wolverine did even manage to get in one last zap on him as he's down on the ground. But we've put him on the ground, and he is unconscious, and that is a bad place to be, because you are right in front of Commander Koby, and Commander Koby is still kind of bitter about his old stalker. You Lyran filth. Show me your moves. So, interesting thing, we haven't actually eliminated any enemies because we're doing this weird thing where we're just sort of letting them dictate how much they want to commit to the fight and how much we have our trench that we've occupied, and rather than sitting in their no man's land, they're just kind of peeking and poking. I'm okay with this. I like where I am. I'm parking. I'm still absolutely fine with where I am. Because right now I can start taking shots on that grasshopper. Or, and shots that will finish up that urban mech. Probably take my PPCs on the grasshopper, and then put a couple large laser shots on the urban mech to try to hit it in not the VDET. Try to hit it in anywhere in its center, because its center torso. Now hang on, quick check. Which one of these had the weapon? No, small laser was in that arm. It still got its most dangerous weapon. Well, okay, don't laugh at the AC-10. It hurts if it hits. But still, a couple large lasers downrange, if any one of them hit, this guy's pretty much toast, because he's got 7 left on his center torso, 7 left on his right torso. If we take out his right torso, he doesn't have a weapon anymore. If we take out his center torso, he doesn't have a mech anymore. That means it's worth less, but, you know, I'm glad to take it home. So, for right now, we're throwing it in park again. Park, park, park. Hey, the pilot of that Stinger finally knocked himself unconscious in spite of the fact he's trying to stand up, even though he blew up his own leg. What an idiot. Urban Mech fell over also, but managed to actually stand up. But that's 2 unconscious people on the field. And technically, by the Mega Mech rules, those guys are... So unconscious pilots are not destroyed vehicles because they could get up at any time. But this guy is pretty badly trashed. We've counted on guys like him to stay unconscious before and have failed, but I think that he's going to help me sort of pull home more salvage on this one. Because remember, we have to destroy 6 of these bastards, 8 when their reinforcements show up. But if all 6 of those are mechs, that's going to be a sweet payday. Now this guy, he got knocked out on a pretty lucky one. It's not entirely likely that he's going to stay down. So I'm going to make sure that he stays down forever. Who am I going to put large lasers on this urban mech with? I think Commander Koby is the only one that I'm going to fire on this urban mech with. Use his large lasers, and that'll probably be more than enough to finalize it. Commander Koby is also going to be kind of fucking brutal. He is going to take some some medium laser shots, zap, 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 right on top of that guy's head, and see if we can't decapitate that fire starter. Commander Koby is kind of very angry about what the fuck happened back there. He's not a nice man when you remind him of that. The Marauder, we are putting shots on this chump who's far away. Zap with a PPC, zap with a PPC. They are 80% likely to hit because she's just such an excellent shot. We could go into heat debt again. This guy did not move enough to really... Yeah, you know what? I'm doing it. I'm going into heat debt again just to capitalize on the fact that this guy didn't jump jet, he didn't move much, he barely even scooted. We're going to start stripping some armor off that grasshopper and see if we can't take that home too. The Wolverine could get really mean, but I don't trust her shots as much. No offense, babe, but Captain Koby is willing to take this one on himself. Just keep putting shots down range on that grasshopper. Captain Koby will be our executioner. Same for you, large laser shots down range. You actually have okay shots on his head. But we probably don't need it. Probably Captain Koby's got... You know what, fuck it. We'll give him a little bit of extra help just in case. Just enough to bring us up to heat neutrality. So, enemy Grasshopper misses both of its shots. That's once again the bulk of the enemy's damage at this range. Our Stalker does exactly as I anticipated. A shot anywhere on its torso pretty much destroyed it. The urban mech is destroyed by damage and is no more. Oh, but he kind of flinched. He flinched when it came to those headshots. He took his zaps, but just didn't have it in him to actually nail that bastard to the ground. I understand, Commander Koby. It was a hard thing I asked you to do. It was really brutal. You're a good man at heart. I'm sorry for putting you in that position. Marauder is more than happy to take shots at that grasshopper, though. Boiled off 10, 20, 28 points of damage. Not bad for a turn. Wolverine missed, but the Thunderbolt also zapped it right on its exposed right arm and is into internal structure on it. That's a good start. Actually did manage to land one of those shots with the medium laser, but it was only on the right torso, despite trying to drill in on its head. So, it's a little weaker, but he could potentially get up. This guy remains standing, despite taking 20% damage, and unfortunately the fire starter does wake up. We had our turn, we could have just melted into the ground, we tried to take his mech in a little more intact, and now he might be able to fuck with us. Ooh, Snake Eyes, Pug. Snake Eyes, Pugs. We're not going to be able to see all the enemy movement before you go. Oh, okay, that was the only one I cared about. He tripped and fell and broke his head. Now he's going to be unconscious forever. Now we don't have to worry about him. I mean, if he wakes up at this point, he's, clearly busted off something. His movement is the same, so not his leg, but he probably busted off his arm. So if he tries to get up, he's going to have even more trouble. He's probably going to fall over, and he's probably going to kill himself. So I'm just going to leave him there. He can be his own judge, jury, and executioner. Meanwhile, these guys have remained uh, slowly feeding themselves into our guns. Hell, now the commando's in range of my PPCs, which probably means it's in range of my large lasers. So we can just spend a turn firing at that commando and putting another light mech on the ground. We are going to take home a lot of unconscious pilots today. I am actually pretty happy about that circumstance. Yeah, once again, throw it in park. Oh, and the Wasp wants to play too. Well, isn't that just the dickens? So, Firestarter with the damaged gyro fell over, managed to stay awake, but then fell over on his right arm, then fell over on his left torso, then managed to avoid taking damage several times in a row. Well, except for the first one, he damaged himself on that one. Fell over, damaged his left torso, blew off its arm, and then blacked out. So maybe the game knows that the Lyran's idiots. Maybe it actually knows. So went into heat debt last turn, putting some stripping on this grasshopper. That means that I got to take it a little easy this turn. We're just going to fire a PPC. We're going to leave that fire starter alone. He doesn't need to be touched. He felt the heat on his cockpit of laser shots flinging all around, woke up, spooked, scrambled for better cover, and then fell over 18 times and knocked himself unconscious on his own joystick. It's a success story. Anyway, just to get out a heat debt, fire only one PPC this turn, but firing it at the commando. That said, we fired it at the commando because the commando's a great shot. But if we land that PPC shot on that Wasp, but that's just such an unlikely shot, even from Pugs, who's got the double roll, because that thing bounced like crazy. It's moving fast, but if we land on literally anywhere, it's going to be into critical. And if you hit a leg, it's gone. You hit an arm, it's gone. Hit a torso, it still exists, but reliable damage, hilarious damage. Reliable, hilarious. Any shot on the commando's limbs will destroy it. Any shot on it at all will at least be a critical. We'll take the shot on the commando. We'll definitely, but she's the only one that's going to actually have an accurate shot on that Wasp, because everyone else is going to be operating. Well, everyone's going to be operating on long range. That's not surprising. Captain Koby might be able to take out that Wasp. Let's count on Captain Koby and put shot downrange on this commando. 52% chance to hit. If we hit, we're probably going to cause a critical somewhere. Zoop. We aren't firing at that dude's head. You can stop asking. I'm sorry that I asked. We could take a lot more shots at that commando to finish him off, but Captain Koby's the only one that could have a really good shot on that Wasp. And if any of his shots land, it's also going to fuck up that Wasp really bad. So we'll put Zap Zap downrange and count on him to be able to handle that. Everyone else, we're taking the long shots on that commando, putting damage where it will do the most good. Not terribly likely. You're a little bit behind on this group, babe, but we'll get you up. We'll get you some experience, especially right here. Looks like this is going to be kind of hilarious. And get you prepared to deal with this situation in the future. Shots downrange, how do we do? So, Grasshopper fires its large laser and gets a through armor critical on Pugs. Doesn't she have edge? Well, maybe it didn't trigger because the critical didn't actually trigger. You don't want to use that unless it's, going to actually cause some damage. So yeah, no, didn't go through, didn't hit anything important. Did actually land the first bit of damage we've actually taken, if I remember correctly. Managed to land both of his shots because he's finally getting his range, and deals a little bit of damage to my Marauder. In return, my Marauder does hit that commando in the left leg. It's down to 4 internal structure, but, no effect. Large laser at the Wasp. One misses, other hits, destroying its left arm, and putting a little extra damage on its left torso. And unfortunately, other shots on the commando missed. But the Stinger's pilot remains unconscious. Now we get to see them all move again. So what's the move, you guys? Well, they just kind of stuck around here. They just kind of stayed in place. In fact, this grasshopper did not move whatsoever. He's got range on us. He feels pretty confident, but we still have the range advantage. As long as they're going to hand that range advantage to us on a silver platter, I'm going to exploit it. Especially if they're going to do stupid shit like this and just stand still. Alright, let's look at this Wasp real quick. Wasp armor, very light all around. A large laser on any of these spots along its periphery destroys a large laser on its legs wouldn't destroy the area. So that's really where we should focus our PPCs, because 10 damage on any of these spots is either destroyed, or only on the center torso is it just significant damage. So we're going to leave that Wasp that didn't move much to Pugs. Everyone else is going to focus on the Commando. Commando is slightly heavier armored, but enough large lasers downrange might hit this weak spot left leg, might hit anywhere else, take that sucker out, and maybe be our first actual kill. Because remember, these guys are still not actually down. They should be, but they're not. So for right now, large lasers downrange on the Commando, zap zap. Nothing worthwhile is still in medium range. Large laser downrange on the Commando, zap. Marauder, putting 2 PPCs, glad we got out of heat debt, onto that Wasp, and really, at this point, the large laser is so superfluous. We're not even going to bother. And a large laser downrange at the Commando, zap. Let's see how this turns out. I do not like this fucking grasshopper. He is getting way too many through armor criticals. Now, thankfully, he hasn't been able to actually get anything to happen with them. But I don't like the number of those he's making. However, we are largely taking very piddly damage, so it's nothing to be overly worried about, other than the fact that he's kind of rolling weird. Unfortunately, miss a shot against the Commando, but then another one hits on its left torso. We're into internal structure. Large laser misses the Commando. PPC does exactly what it's supposed to do. Hits it on the right arm, destroying the section, and then follows it up with a hit on the right torso, destroying the section. So we've kind of cut it in half. And then we kind of cut the Commando in half by blowing off its left torso. Makes a pretty impressive pilot check to stay standing, that Wasp pilot. But he's badly damaged. There's not a lot of his mech left. Stinger, no! Stinger, you're going to die! Stay down, you fool! Stay down! Let's see how he deals with the situation of waking up to this hell. He abandons. Okay, that's the first one that we've actually killed. Now these Wasps, these two are withdrawing. They have lost a large chunk of their weapons and armor in this position, and that puts us in a slight quandary. Chasing them down might require actually moving up and exposing ourselves. If we do that, we are greedy, 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 fuck, greedy, greedy. But I am kind of greedy, fuck greedy. Now, funny story, they haven't fled far enough to get outside of PPC range. A PPC shot that lands on this wasp anywhere will once again pretty much put it in the ground. Well, if it hits on this left torso, he'd still be able to get away. But if we hit on his right leg, he's down. We hit on his left leg, he's down. We hit on a right arm or right torso, his center torso is destroyed, he's down. Hit on the head, he's down. There are 2 locations we can hit and not put that guy down. So we may not have to chase him as much. We might be able to get him while he's still trying to run. Now, he did jump, which is going to make him harder to hit. So let's take a look at the Commando. Commando is in a similar situation, but is much tougher. A hit on his right arm won't put him out, but it will, destroy that right arm. He's already fleeing, though. Right torso holds. Center torso holds. Head explodes, but, right leg holds. Left leg explodes. We'd actually have to chase him down and put some significant damage on him to ensure that we take him home. What I think I'm going to do, I will let this Commando run a bit. I am going to try to snipe this wasp that runs, and as long as we're still going to get engaged in a long fight with the enemy, I'm going to take out that grasshopper before I expose myself to all of these vehicles. Not that these vehicles are going to do terribly much, if I'm being honest. I mean, the biggest bang that they have are these Hetzers. Those Hetzers' guns only reach up to here. Now, cresting this hill means that they can bum rush me. But alright, I think I know what I'm going to do. So right now it's the Thunderbolt's turn. Thunderbolt should stay parked. It can't move enough for its medium lasers to matter, and it could move up enough to be able to get the Commando and the Wasp in range, but it would only be throwing a large laser downrange. Not enough to really do anything worthwhile. Thunderbolt throws it in park. The Marauder's right where I want it to be. PPC's on target. I can put both of them on the Wasp and probably knock it out. Thunderbolt's on park. Commander Koby and his Stalker. I was thinking might be able to kind of stick to this ridge and be safe. The alternative is to push forward. He's got 2 large laser shots, and any one of those that fall on the right side of that Commando are probably going to take it the fuck out. If I remember correctly, that thing is down to 4. Well, no, he'd have to land 2. But if we land on that left leg, that takes him out, right? We'd have to push up pretty far to be able to get good shots on it, and it'll expose us to a lot of return fire. Not from the most dangerous stuff, and honestly, just kind of from the vedettes and Condor and things that's already shooting at us anyway. You know what? We can't be scaredy cats about this. We have eliminated a lot of their mech effectiveness already. Commander Koby is going to lead the charge. He's going to push up a bit, and on a following turn, he might just push back down. But for right now, he's pretty happy where he's going to move up and see if we can't snipe out that Commando. Wolverine is going to throw it in park. We're going to just take shots at that grasshopper. Pilot ejects. Kali Galas is out of this deal. Saw this coming and decided to get out while the getting was good. Large laser going downrange on the grasshopper. Zap. PPCs going out at the Wasp. This should go from like damage high to low. Zap, zap. That was both on the Wasp, right? You did that right? Let me just make sure you did that right. Zap, zap. Yeah, okay. Could also throw a large laser, but I don't see any reason to go into heat net right now. Stalker. Stalker is going to make sure that Commando doesn't get away. Zap, zap. He is just outside of medium range for anything else, though. So, we'll leave it at that. Wolverine, stripping more from this Grasshopper. Zap. How do we do? Grasshopper doesn't get a through armor crit this time, but he is regularly pounding away at my Marauder. He knows that it's kind of the lightest armor thing I had, but he just doesn't have enough to make a huge dent. Vedettes are taking fire at my commander. He blinks it, he blinks it, he blinks it. Actually manages to protect his leg. Shut up, you. Thunderbolt puts another large laser on the Grasshopper. Oh, that was like the one area you could hit and not destroy it. Well, okay, there were two areas because you could also hit the left arm. So, unfortunately, did not actually destroy the Wasp, just blew up its other half. But, and our shots on the Commando did not hit, unfortunately. So, those guys are going to possibly get away. Maybe not if I have anything to say about it, though. Thunderbolt has to go kind of in the middle. So let's see how the enemy reacts to this. Their reinforcements are coming in, which is just a bunch of extra vehicles, as I recall. Yeah, just a bunch of extra vehicles. They'll probably crowd behind this hill and then cower also. Wasp is pulling well back beyond my range. Man, like I said, like two areas we could hit that would have not destroyed this thing, and we hit one of them. Good news, if we land another shot on this sucker, another PPC shot on that bastard, there's no running away now. Any PPC shot will shut him down. Maybe it's worth chasing him for that. Thunderbolt right now, honestly, it's continuing to be a large laser fight, and I see no reason to move the Thunderbolt into the danger zone. You know what? No. I do see a reason to do so. Because Captain Koby's moving up. Now, we can't afford to cower at this point and let him take all the heat. We actually need to push up. We are X Company, goddammit. We actually did a lot of good work. We zapped a lot of enemies' tonnage way from far range. But now is the time to move up and start showing them who's boss. Come on, you apes. Do you want to live forever? Marauder, I really, really want you to get PPCs on that Wasp. You can't do it. That saddens me so much. So close, and yet so far. Oh well. The Grasshopper looks like he's making an aggressive move, and I don't think that's going to work out to his benefit. We're going to focus down on him, and it's going to be messy. I guess I should just, like, turn this way so that I can walk around this downed fire starter. Beep, beep, beep. As for Commander Koby, can you get up in? You can't quite get up in. You can get into a position where in a subsequent turn you can get up in. But can't quite catch these fleeing guys just yet. But you can get into a position where we're going to totally shithouse this Grasshopper. It's not even going to be funny. So this guy is now within my medium range. He may have moved a lot, and I may have moved a lot, but I've got some lasers for him and a shitload of them. I'm just going to start stripping like crazy. Zap, 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 zap. Fuck, I love the Tallman so much. We could even go 10 overheat with another zap, but I don't feel that's necessary. That's enough medium lasers for anybody. Marauder has solid shots on this Grasshopper. And honestly, that sounds like a good idea to me, because this thing is a heavy mech. It's got lots of armor, and if we spend a turn just really pounding him, we're all outside of AC-20 range, almost like I planned it that way. It's almost like that, because it's not like that. Let's just drill 20 points of damage onto him, and not get too crazy with much more. Let's then do a nice rombo combo of things that will strip. Ooh, geez, super twisty. A nice rombo combo of things that will do some damage and seek for crits. Zap, zap, foosh. And then with the stalker, um, okay, I probably put enough damage on that grasshopper at this point that he'll have some pretty stripped armor. Don't need to worry about that so much. SRM6 searching for open spot probably is going to be my best option. That's about 16 heat. That's 18. That leaves me with what? 18 12 more that I can throw down range at something. Nothing else. Well, unless I twist a little. Unless I twist a little, Captain. I do have these condors at medium range. Let's see here. Double checking my math. 16, 18. 12 more. That would be all of these medium lasers on 8s. Or go into a little bit of heat debt to throw 2 large lasers downrange at that condor. I'm thinking probably the best thing to do. Foosh, 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 foosh. And then we'll throw 2 of these downrange at the condor and see if we get a lucky crit and just knock it the fuck out. Start actually taking out enemy units, you know, like we were contracted to do. Let's see how we did. More shots are coming in now. We're actually exposing ourselves to fire. The Condor actually shows that it's a pretty good shot. Doing pops on my Stalker with its AC5 and both of its medium lasers. Those medium, all of those, this was an okay shot. These were kind of hard ones. So, good shooting, you hopefully dead bastard. Our Thunderbolt puts a brace of medium lasers on that grasshopper. It's got like a 50% chance to hit, and about 50% of them hit. So that pretty much checks out. It's into internals on its right arm. Our grasshopper enemy is firing at my stalker and is putting some zaps down range. My armor is still holding more or less, but it is getting kind of weak in some critical areas. But he misses with a fair amount of his stuff. PPC hits on the right arm of that grasshopper. We are really hating that right arm. Destroys the section, zaps into its right torso, is into internal on it, and zaps it in the left leg. That may be potentially critical in the future. Our Wolverine throws a couple shots down range, but unfortunately didn't manage to get any good ones. Here's where the big fooshes happen. SRM6 hits with 3 missiles. Punk. Critical hit on its heat sink. Punk. SRM6, 2 missiles hit. Punk, punk. SRM6, 2 missiles hit. 1 on the head. Popped him in the head. SRM6 misses. Large laser zaps that Condor, puts a little bit of damage on it, but doesn't actually crit it into the ground. Stalker needs to pilot, gets close. Grasshopper needs to pilot, gets closer. And we could kick the immobile fire starter, but boy, that sounds fucking mean. Doesn't that sound mean to you folks? That sounds mean to me. Yeah, that guy's still unconscious. Alright. The Vidette and a pack rat will move after I do, and I really don't think I care about them. So show me your moves. Those light mechs are getting the hell away, and they're getting the hell away fast. And if I wanted to get them, I probably needed to have chased them down right away. I can still potentially chase them down pretty hard. My Wolverine has an awful lot of get up and go to it. She just doesn't have the most accurate shots in the world, sadly. But she can close range and get a large laser shot on that wasp at least. And any large laser shot that lands is probably going to, at the very least, put it in a serious world of hurt. And if it lands on the upper end, it destroys it. That's going to put me close to a lot of vedettes, and the worst part, that would well, no, the Hetzer there is parked, and from this position, neither of them can see me. we're safe from most of the heavy damage the enemy can do from me over here. That grasshopper is being a fucking coward, and we're going to show him what happens to cowards. So yeah, we're going to send Babe out on a mission to try to chase down those lights and see if she can't take them home. My Marauder has got shots on that grasshopper, but I think I know who's going to actually deal with him. His right side is badly savaged, but I probably should have put a bit more stripping on him, because quite honestly, he's just not as weak as I was accounting for. So Commander Koby, up close and personal, can probably put a savage amount of damage on this guy, especially if I pair him with Genie. So I think the Marauder is going to be set out on another target. Specifically, we're going to move so that we can kick this Condor and throw some shots downrange, just to make sure we're not in its range. Well, we'd be at its extreme range. But if that AC-20 hits, it's painful. Why subject ourselves to that? Why even bother? This is our line. We do not want to cross that line and be somewhere that the Hetzer can see us. So, with that line in mind, we could just move here, take a bunch of close-range shots at this Condor, or wing PPC shots downrange. On the other hand, ooh, okay, fuck you, Hetzer. I'm going to risk it. Shut up. You know, I might be a piggy, fuck piggy, but god damn it, I just want some finalizations. You aren't going to fucking deny me my kill, you piece of shit. So we'll put the Thunderbolt up here, get good shots down on the Grasshopper. The Stalker is going to thump right here, where not only will it be able to put some lasers on that Grasshopper, it'll also be able to kick it right in the face. Kick it in the face. Well, I'm glad that I sent the Marauder to take a look at this guy, because Jesus, we just aren't hitting with those shots. Let's take some more reasonable ones. Probably do a large laser, a medium, and an SRM-6 on this VDET. And see if we can't get some lucky criticals and knock it out. You know, start focusing on the tanks. We do need to knock out 8 of these bastards, and we've only knocked out 2 so far. I mean, this guy effectively counts, but he doesn't yet. So we do need to start making up the numbers. So we'll put a zap, and then we'll put a foosh. And that'll put us 3 overheat, and that's completely manageable. Marauder, that's such a hard shot, but if anyone can do it, you fucking can. Get him! Fucking get him! Don't let him get away! Zap him to pieces! Over here, speaking of zap him to pieces, fuck you. Okay, how much more? I've got 1 more. That would put me 5 over. 5 is movement points. Don't give a shit about movement. Zap the ever-loving crap out of him. And then you. Zap the ever-loving crap out of him. Zap. Foosh. 4 over? 4 over. Foosh. This is going to be awful. Those were all like 4%, 90% shots to hit. Oh, that's going to be nasty. I'm looking forward to seeing it. So, VDET misses my Wolverine. FU. Grasshopper firing at my Stalker lands 2 of his medium lasers, and both of them in places that are pretty heavily armored. The right torso is getting a little exposed. Center torso shots, I can take tons of them. Keep bringing those, please. Also, especially with machine guns. Shut up. Hetzer does take a shot at my Stalker, but manages to miss. That actually could have been dangerous. Wolverine puts some zaps on that VDET. Strips some armor, but unfortunately no crit procking. That's alright. Oh, that Wasp is still getting away. That little fucker. That little fucker, I hate him. Now my Thunderbolt. Genie, grant me a wish. Well, there's one. Through armor critical hit on the engine. He is going to start heating up. He's largely a laser-based mech, so that doesn't speak well for him. Left arm, right leg, left torso. 2 misses, but you got most of these hit. The Stalker follows up with right arm into internal structure. Or right arm transfers to right torso, which is into internal structure. Left arm, right arm again into internal structure. SRM6 seeking for crits, does multiple crits on the engine. It is destroyed by engine destruction, which is interesting. Did we actually do... We did not destroy its central torso. So that is actually going to be a mech we could potentially fix. It'd just be a bit pricey, because those fusion engines, man. Those fusion engines. Yeah, stay unconscious. That's the safest place for you. Alright, show me your moves, and let me get a count of how many of you are down. They're still withdrawing. That commando has almost gotten away. So the Grasshopper is down. Stinger, down. Or whoever this was. Stinger? I think a Stinger. Urban Mech, down. We haven't taken out many of the vehicles yet. We should probably start working on that. Firestarter effectively down, but doesn't count, so that's 3 out of 6? Or was it 8? It was 8 that we have to take out. So we need to start finalizing these vehicles. That Wasp, I want it so bad. I want it so bad, but I just don't know if it's going to be possible to take it. Instead, I'm going to start dedicating people to taking out vehicles. Genie, I want you to see if you can get eyes on this Condor. Looks like you can get eyes on him, despite your impaired movement. So go get eyes on him, and then go put lasers on him, and remove him as an issue for me, please. My Marauder, I just want to see if I can get one more turn, one more precious turn. I can get one more precious turn of shots on this Wasp. He keeps jumping, that keeps making him hard to hit. But from this position, the Hetzers can't see me, so I do not fear them. And all of these vedettes and stuff, they're mildly dangerous, but nothing a Marauder can't take. My Stalker is probably the best option to go face those Hetzers down, but I still kind of don't want to, because they're dangerous and scary. But unfortunately, they've got a beat on him as it is, and there's not a lot I can do about that, apparently. They've got him in his sights. The only thing I can really do to help counteract that is to move swiftly. This would kind of expose my back arc to that Condor, which isn't really necessary at this point. Stomping up to there will allow me to put some kicks on that Condor, and also should get me within range to put a lot of lasers on one of those Hetzers, and potentially stop it from being a problem. So I'm going to do that. My Wolverine has a lot of options. Could move up on any one of these light tanks. Can't quite get in range for kicking on those. And because of this rubble, can't quite get in range of kicking on these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't quite get in range of landing shots on the Hetzers either. So honestly, I think best option is just kind of be to take this route that moves me pretty swift, put a lot of zaps on this J. Edgar light hover tank, and try to take it out as a problem. Hover tanks are generally sensitive to damage. Speaking of hover tanks being sensitive to damage, fuck you. Okay. 2 over. 5 over. Movement problems are fine. Zap that bitch. Pew. Marauder, you know what you have to do. You have to dial in. Use the force, pugs. The force of pulsed particles. Make it happen. Make me proud. Over here, plan is to twist and just pick this top Hetzer and put an awful lot of pain on it, as much as we can afford. That's going to be large laser, and just because of the nature of vehicles, best other pain is going to be just a shit load of these. That puts me 4 over, that's as far as I want to go. Wolverine over here, we were going to razzle-dazzle this J. Edgar Light. We're a little overheated, so we're just going to take it a little easy with a pair of medium lasers and an SRM-6. That's only 1 overheat, a nice recovery. How do we do? VDET, they're still picking on my Marauder. My Marauder can kind of take it, but I'm starting to get a little tired of it. J. Edgar Light Hover Tank. Wolverine zaps left torso, or zaps the Wolverine on the left torso. We can take it. Left arm, we can take it. Condor on my Wolverine, we can take it. AC-20 misses. Fuck you. Condor, shots on my Tallman. At least things are. At least it's splitting out the fire. We take a nice bracket of hits, but we should still be fine. AC-20 misses. Fuck you. VDET lands another shot on my Marauder. Armor's starting to get a little weak. Don't like that. Packrat misses SRM-6s. Our Thunderbolt immobilizes the Condor with the first shot, but is probably going to end up destroying it anyway because we just took too many lasers. Yeah, too many lasers. Condor is dead. But hey, that's one more enemy taken out of the fight. Aww, you had one job. Whoops. Oh, hey. That's neat. I've never done that before. Take some shots on the Stalker, or on the Hetzer. Zap it, zap it. Its front armor is kind of reeling. SRM-6 hits. Pop, 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 pop. Important thing is this one right here. The one that hits a track and immobilizes it. Or I guess these guys have wheels. Pops a wheel and immobilizes it. They're going to have to abandon it. So that's one more of those down. And then a pop on this J. Edgar Light's turret. And not much else. But, you know. Yeah, stay unconscious, you sucker. A little bit of a mixed bag. A VDET will move and then a Packrat will move, though, and that's not really the things I'm worried about. So let's see how the rest of the enemies move. Hetzer is backing the fuck up. He went like, oh shit, throw it in reverse. A lot of stuff otherwise kind of held its ground. These guys continue to fall back. The Commando will be out next turn, but that Wasp has a problem. That Wasp's problem is that it can only move a couple square. It can't evacuate next turn. It's got to be up against the board edge. I can chase it down. I'm gonna chase it down. It will not get away from me. God damn it. You get back here. Oh shit. I've been kind of overheating myself, and unfortunately it might just get away because of that. I can't really push up far enough to be able to catch it. So, time to chill the fuck out a little bit. It's going to get away. When those guys evacuate, they're going to count as 2 kills, effectively, for this mission purpose. So, I'm okay with that. It's 2 light mechs that get away. Sad, but, you know, we forced them from the field. No reason to go get any crazier. I've already kind of gone way too crazy as it is. Instead, let's focus on not taking any more significant damage. Just kind of backing up out of this Hetzer's range. And then being able to drill a pair of PPCs right on top of his face. Sound like a pretty good idea to me. Yep. My Wolverine pilot has an interesting opportunity. Can kind of pilot on top of this VDET and get into this position. Not sure if that's so great, though, because I think that might... Well, no, probably not in the Hetzer's range right there. I could also just kind of pilot like this and that would allow me to kick this Condor in the butt. And I'm kind of a fan of that. Over here, Thunderbolt needs to close with somebody in order to start doing some damage. And unfortunately, my nuked movement is going to haunt me now. I would have been short even if I had full movement. It's not going to haunt me too much. I'll at least be able to put large lasers on somebody. That pack rat is aiming for more to my back armor. So I am kind of leaving the Wolverine surrounded here. I should probably move someone across to support, and that someone should be Captain Koby, if I can get him up into position. I kinda can. He's not going to have great shots, but he'll be able to help. Boop. Okay, sorry, I need to take a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when those guys escape, 6 and 7. So we only really need to knock out one more of these guys for our slash victory next turn. I guess of all the enemies, taking out the Hetzer is the one that's going to give us the most loot, potentially. Knocking out this Condor, I'm going to leave to the Wolverine. So we have to actually take it easy. We've been firing both barrels each turn, and it's kind of overheated us. So we actually have to do an eco round of heat. We can fire off a medium laser along with and be heat neutral. So we'll do that. Just get my heat back down. Most of the fire is going to come from my Wolverine, who is just going to pound this thing right in the buttocks. Zoop, zoop, zoop. My Thunderbolt managed to get this thing in large laser range. We're going to take that shot, and we're going to hope for some better ones next turn. That's also at least going to do a bit of heat eco. And, just for purposes of... You know what? No, this is the guy who needs it the most. Zap, zap, and nothing else is in short range. So, let's see how we do. Condor misses my Marauder entirely. Big middle finger to you. J. Edgar Light Hover Tank taking shots at my Wolverine. Just manages to land its SRM-2. Vedette taking shots at my Wolverine. Manages to hit in the left leg with a machine gun. Vedette 2 misses entirely. My Marauder PPC splashes against the Hetzer's front armor, melting a third of it. Good work. Medium laser, that was just a side shot, didn't hit. Vedette misses my Stalker, middle finger. Wolverine, medium laser hits, medium lasers hits. Unfortunately, the SRM-6 that was hoping for crit procking doesn't, but we might have a nice kick to the butt, which will finish it off. My Thunderbolt zaps the Hetzer in his side, pops one of his tires. He's got -1 to move. Pack Rat manages to get a full barrage onto my Wolverine. But fortunately damage spreads out a fair bit, so my left leg's looking a little sensitive, but otherwise I'm okay. And Captain Koby manages to melt a little more of that Hetzer's front armor, but not enough to take it down. Lastly, push its shit in. Good work. Pushes its foot right through its back armor, crunches into it, destroys all of its fans, and renders it immobile and also destroyed. Excellent, excellent work. Stay unconscious. So all the enemies will move before I move. Oh wait, no, that's not true. A Vedette and that Commando get to move after me. But let's see what their other movements are. Not surprising, the Wasp wants to back itself up against the corner. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Ooh, damn. 6 enemies down. The Commando's going to evacuate, and that will make 7. Don't really have any follow-up commentary for that. Let's other than let's get them. Let's go kill them. Kill them dead. Zap them with lasers. Can't quite get that a Hetzer into range. I can get that. Oh, I can do it this way. Haha! All right, Hetzer, come here. Come to Genie. That Vidette's like, ooh, fuck that noise. Let's see here. Most of the Vedettes are kind of backed around my Wolverine's buttocks. Don't like that. So I am just going to kind of spin in place. And get into position where I can kick this Vedette in the side. My Stalker, I want him still chasing down that Hetzer, if possible. You can also get medium lasers on it, not there. Like this? No. Like this? No. Can't get medium lasers on him. Can you get medium lasers on anybody? No. Because remember, that's one tile too far. No, unfortunately can't get your medium lasers operational. Move up like this to join up with the group, and we'll use your large lasers on its side arc again. Just a quick check. Just a quick, do dreams really come true check. Yeah, dreams don't come true. Well, from right where I am, I'm not really threatened by a lot. I can push up, and the Hetzer would have an arc on me there. So I'm just going to kind of scoot a bit. On the other hand, I could scoot like... No, I can't quite do that. Yeah, just scoot like this. That'll put me at medium range to the Hetzer and lots of other things. And moves a fair bit. And that commando fled. So that's our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th. If we knock one more out, it's slash victory. So let's see if we can't do that, I guess. I maneuvered like this because I wanted to take a shitload of not great but okay shots on that Hetzer to just track the piss out of him. Zap, 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 bitch, zap. Probably going to have Captain Koby help on that one, so maybe my Marauder would be better off throwing some fire downrange over here. Maybe targeting like this Vedette that already got injured. 2 shots on his front, 2 shots on his turret, 2 shots on his side would destroy him. Any kind of shot spread otherwise would not, but yeah, it might be worth doing. Oh, I'm still on the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt's done. Wolverine, kind of just want you focusing on razzle-dazzling this Vedette. Zoop, zoop, pachoof. I want your large lasers firing on this Hetzer. Please remove him from the earth. Okay, thanks. Over here, Pack Rat. What kind of armor does it have? Heavy enough that I'd still need 2 shots on the same arc to do it. So, another thought. This Vedette, I'm hitting it on the butt. That gives us a better chance to proc some crits that would destroy it. Maybe the best way to handle this is to go into more heat debt. I mean, we keep doing that and it keeps paying off, right? If we zap this Vedette on the front, we might destroy it on 2 front shots. But if we zap this Vedette on the front and then zap it some more on the front, go 8 over, which would give us a penalty to shoot on a following turn, we might be able to follow up on a weak spot that we make. So let's do that. Someone was bound to get something eventually. Very tough shot for that Hetzer. Lands right on top of the right arm of my Thunderbolt. Destroys the right arm and deals a critical hit on my large laser. That's okay. I'm going to make my money back, but that's going to put some damage on this mech that'll be a little difficult to repair. Don't worry though. I was anticipating that we would get something like this. After all, it wouldn't be dramatic if we didn't take something. Vidette splashes against my Wolverine, getting kind of weak on your armor. Splashes on my legs, splashes on my right legs, getting kind of weak there too. Splashes on my Wolverine center torso, splashes on my left leg, splashes on my left leg. I'm not a fan of all the left leg shots I'm taking. Pack Rat, splash, 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 not on the left leg, so it kind of spreads out. Thunderbolt takes a shitload of shots at that Hetzer in response. Zap, 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 and actually manages to zap its engine and immobilize it. That Hetzer is coming home, perhaps in a body bag, because we still have Captain Koby's shot coming in on it. Vidette splashes against my left arm on the Wolverine, getting really close now. Right leg on the Wolverine. Probably need to pull the Wolverine out of there. Just too much weak armor. But she manages to land 2 of her hits on that Vidette and stuns the crew. So at least that Vidette won't be firing. Captain Koby, you drilled in too much. Zap on the right side and zap on the right side destroys it, so we don't take it home in one piece. Unfortunately, my plan to zap and follow up didn't pan out. But hey, you know, we tried. Took a lot of shots this turn, lots of damage, but maybe it'll pay off with this kick. Crunch! Well, half movement. Might make it easy to catch. But, okay, guy stays unconscious. But we actually didn't destroy, oh, we did destroy something last turn. Shit, I should have slash victoried. Well, now I will. Because we've definitely slash victoried. We have eliminated 8 of their guys, plus some because of retreating, so that is slash victory. My Thunderbolt lost an arm. That's sad, but we can replace it. That's not a problem. We are probably going to go try to finalize some enemies. We've got all of my medium lasers still operational, so we'll go chase down this Vidette that was stunned and try to zap the piss out of it. My Stalker, Captain Koby still wants to fight. He will be able to get his medium lasers on that Vidette, yes. I really just kind of want to pull straight the fuck out of there. If you land there, you can still be seen by everyone. What about here? Still seen by everyone. Well, best you can really manage is a straight jump pullback that at the very least will make it so that everyone is at much longer ranges to you. You jump jetted, you move pretty fast. Make you a hard target. Don't want any more damage on you. Marauder has to kind of navigate this rubble field, but will do so in order to get some shots on target. Who to target? I don't know yet. Yep, Wasp fled the battlefield. The Vidette is hiding from my Thunderbolts somehow, but not this Vidette. So, incoming zaps, you bitch. Fuck it, last turn. More accurate zaps over here, but could also probably take... Well, those are far less accurate zaps. Did one of these, like, not move much? This one didn't move a hell of a lot. That's still 7s. I just don't know if it's worthwhile to split my damage so much, but then again, I am just putting an absolute truckload of damage onto that Vidette with medium lasers. Because I'm going to be firing on it with my medium lasers anyway, so may as well just take some shots at, what is this? A Vidette? Another Vidette? Zap zap. And then throw a bunch of SRM6s at it. Less likely to destroy it, more likely to take it home as salvage because we've popped its treads. Wolverine up here is just kind of trying to stay out of this, but we can go ahead and throw down let's throw down a large laser on something that will possibly hit. I mean, I just really don't feel like this VDET needs much more. Ah, this VDET. This VDET was trying to hid from most of my guys, but won't hide from this. Ha 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 ha. And let's go into heat det against it. Marauder. Marauder's the only one who could provide me some good shots against some targets that I don't have some fire on. That said, piling up the fire with what potentially Captain Koby's going to put out is our best way to potentially take that guy home. Zap zap, that puts me 10 over. I don't have any ammo in this mech. There's nothing to explode. So I could also put that downrange. That's 18. 18 is potential shutdown, but not an ammo explosion. But we don't have any ammo to explode, and I really don't think that we need to test that theory. So let's see how we do. We take a parting hit on our Marauder, right in the left leg. We take another parting hit on a Marauder on the left arm. Thunderbolt zaps, zaps, minor damage, zaps, 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 zaps. -1 to its movement. Stalker firing on a different VDET. Parting shot on our Marauder again, center torso. That VDET that we were targeting, left side critical destroyed. That thing, that VDET is destroyed. Then the other VDET also destroyed. And my PPCs slam into a thing that no longer exists, and then the Wolverine doesn't hit much. And this guy stays unconscious, so he's coming home with me. So that's Myo Yin Chen, and we have achieved all victory conditions. So what went right with that one? Well, we picked, first off, we turned on that ability to see the hex heights. God, I can't believe I fucking forgot about that. What an idiot. But with that, we were able to see where the enemy was going to go, where they were going to crowd up, and we got a good estimation of our ranges against the enemy. The enemy AI was very afraid of entering our medium range, rightfully so. We are monsters in that range, but they also didn't really have much that they could follow up at long range. The only reason we took any significant damage on that encounter is because I got greedy and started chasing shit down. Although I guess we would have eventually had to push over and take out those vehicles anyway. So it was all predestined. We did lose an arm, but we can replace an arm. That we've done it before, and we've got the facilities to do it again. And we'll potentially take home a bucket load of salvage that'll pay for it. So I feel that this was a very positive mission. Looking forward to seeing more of the same, and I will see you guys next time.